Hello, welcome. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guman Singh. Topping our newscast, the Office of the Attorney General announced on Friday another batch of arrests related to the rigged property auctions that occurred between 2012 and 2013. On Saturday, the fourth arrest was made, but it's by no means the last, according to the AG. News2's April Knight has that story.
A fourth arrest has been made in the rigged property auctions done under the Lieutenant Governor's office in 2012 and 2013. Businessman Paul Sabers was expected back in the territory on Friday to face arrest, but he was not arrested until Saturday night at the Cyril E. King Airport on St. Thomas. That was one day after three others were arrested and advised of their rights for their involvement in a fraudulent property bidding scheme. Sabers joined businessman Edward McKenzie as well as former Chief Enforcement Officer of the Tax Assessor's Office, Calford Charleswell, and Sylvester Warner of the VI Waste Management Authority. Sabers was one of the receivers of properties that were fraudulently auctioned. This is how it works. An accomplice would freeze the process by bidding high amounts and then fail to pay the deposit. As a result, the property lands in the hands of the second highest bidder, who gets the property for a very low price. According to Acting Attorney General Claude Walker, this is just the beginning.
We know that other people have received properties through this similar type of fraudulent scheme. We have a team of special agents from the Department of Justice and the Inspector General's office actively working these cases. We are making considerable progress. Some of the persons involved have found that it is in their best interests to fully cooperate with us.
All four men are facing conspiracy, forgery, obtaining money by false pretenses, fraudulent claims upon the government, and embezzlement by public or private officers. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In other news, Senator Kurt Violet joins local leaders who have expressed their disappointment at the decision of the GERS board to indefinitely suspend all loans. Violet said he understands that it's an effort to address liquidity issues, but he also says ending access to GERS loans significantly hurts the working class of the territory. In a letter addressed to GERS Administrator Austin Nibbs, VLA requested that the loan program be reopened temporarily for active GERS members, proposing that the amount each member could withdraw be capped at $7,500, not to exceed a $20 million ceiling. Innovative is informing its customers of intermittent modem hang-ups affecting those who have been converted to its hybrid fiber coaxial network, or HFC network, throughout the territory. These interruptions are caused by unresponsive cable modems and have affected over 60 customers per day. During these interruptions, Innovative customers may experience no dial tone on their landlines or loss of internet service. For cable TV or phone repairs, Innovative customers calling from landlines should dial 912. Customers utilizing wireless phones can reach repairs at 778-1742. On Sunday, November 22nd, turned into crime reports at 6:10 p.m. The 911 emergency call center received notification of a robbery at the Mountain gas station in Estate Diamond. The gas station attendant told police, who stated that he'd been inside of his booth when a tall black male with dreadlocks approached him with a handgun. As the man demanded all of his money, the attendant turned over an undetermined amount of cash to the wielding man, who then ran away from the scene. The attendant described the suspect as having been tall, black male with dreadlocks, with a bandage on his hand, wearing a brown shirt. No one was injured during the incident, and the matter is under investigation. Sunday, November 22nd, Akil Smith, 23, of Estate Thomas, was arrested and charged with possession of an unlicensed firearm at 3:50 a.m. after a 9mm handgun was found in the vehicle he was operating. Bail for Smith was set at $25,000. On Monday, November 23rd, Alexis Cordero, 47, of Savan, was arrested and charged with driving under the influence after he caused an auto collision during the standard field sobriety test. Cordero was unable to keep a steady balance. Bail was set to $1,500. Also on Monday, November 23rd, Halva Hart, of 48 of Annis Fancy was arrested on an arrest warrant for fraudulent use of a credit card issued by the Superior Court of the Virgin Islands. Bail for Hart was set at $35,000. On Sunday, November 22nd at 8:15 a.m., Lynn Fredericks Jr., 33 of Estate Nada, Tyler Labari, 26 of Bovoni, and Janaki Hazel, 20 of Estate Nada, were arrested and charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm. Police say approximately at 3 a.m. on Sunday, 911 received a report of gunfire in the vicinity of the Crush nightclub located in Subbase. According to witnesses in the area, the shots were being fired from a dark-colored vehicle. Shortly after, the dark-colored vehicle was involved in a one-vehicle accident on Veterans Drive. Officers observed two men standing outside the vehicle while the third defendant, they say, exited the vehicle and was seen throwing firearms into the bushes. Several shell casings were discovered in the alley between the Crush nightclub and Pueblo supermarket of Subbase that matched the firearms. Meanwhile, here are some details on why the sale of the Hovenza storage facility has been moved further back. Allegations of a flawed bidding process is proving to be a setback on finalizing that sale, and it involves accusations against the government of the Virgin Islands. NEWS2's April Knight has details.
The much-anticipated sale of the Hovenza storage facility on St. Croix has been pushed back to December after allegations of collusion arose last week. Bankruptcy Judge Mary Walrath stated there are serious concerns about collusion, and she set a date for an evidentiary hearing in December to know exactly what happened during the bidding process. Concerns were raised when Hovenza continued to assert that Lime Tree Bay Holdings, a subsidiary of the company ArcLight, was the successful bidder. This was in spite of the fact that Buckeye Partners, the other bidder, made a higher offer. Lime Tree Bay Holdings was the stalking horse, the initial bidder that offered $184 million for the storage facility. Buckeye had to come up with a better offer to even get into the auction. Their minimum bid was $198.6 million. Buckeye, as well as the Committee on Unsecured Creditors, raised concerns about the bidding process. The committee also pointed to possible collusion between ArcLight and the VI government. Governor Kenneth Mapp issued a statement Thursday acknowledging the judge's orders and defending the selection of ArcLight. According to the governor, it was an independent, full, and fair bidding process. He stated that ArcLight was selected because it has a stronger offering in terms of jobs and revenues and is the more environmentally friendly choice. According to the governor, the company also has plans to operate the refinery on a limited basis. The evidentiary hearing is scheduled for December 17th. Reporting for NEWS2, I'm April Knight.
Make sure you count on 2. We will keep you updated on the status of the Hovenza sales process. Well, over the weekend, one of the largest agricultural events was held at the Reichel grounds on St. Thomas. The St. Thomas-St. John Agricultural Fair 2015 drew hundreds of farmers, vendors, and residents to the wide array of flora, fauna, local cuisine, and arts and crafts on display. Organizers also highlighted this year's theme, Drought to Green.
All of us are aware of what took place just this year, earlier this year, where our farmers and all of us had a very difficult and challenging time through the extended drought. And I say that to say two things. The first thing is this. We all had a very difficult time, but imagine those who toiled the soil and depended upon the soil and rainfall for a living. And still our farmers are at it, have not given up.
And we will have more from the fair on Tuesday's newscast. Tune in for that. Meanwhile, Commissioner-designee Carlos Robles of the VI Department of Agriculture announces Meet Our Farmers meetings. They're scheduled for the following dates. Livestock Farmers UVI CES Room 133 on Tuesday, November 24th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Crop Farmers UVI Great Hall on Wednesday, November 25th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. The UVI's Research and Technology Park, or the RT Park, Client Appreciation Reception last Wednesday, November 18th, was held at the UVI President's Guest House on the St. Thomas campus. Now, this event provided an opportunity for the university to recognize and thank all of the RT Park clients for their contribution to its academic project and strategy of building a great university. The event will bring together RT Park clients and a number of other key stakeholders. The reception is hosted by UVI's president, Dr. David Hall, Dr. Gillian Marcel, executive director of the RT Park, and Mr. Edward Thomas, chairman of the board for the park. Turn our attention overseas. Brussels is on its highest alert following the terrorist attacks in Paris 10 days ago, with fears that what happened in France could happen in Belgium next. Meanwhile, countries around the world are working together to figure out how best to respond to ISIS, from missile attacks to the race for the White House. Emily Schmidt has more from Washington.
In Brussels, Belgium, quiet does not necessarily mean calm. The city is under a partial lockdown because of what officials call a serious and imminent threat, keeping citizens home while police search for terrorists tied to the attacks in Paris.
A city where millions came out on Friday night to live their lives and to send a very clear message to the terrorists that you will never win.
The ripple effects of the Paris terrorist attacks are widening around the world. British Prime Minister David Cameron met with French President Francois Hollande for the first of Hollande's 3 big meetings this week, working to build a coalition against ISIS. He will also meet with President Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Russia has released videos of missiles to be fired on ISIS targets in Syria. One reads, "For our people," the other, "For Paris." In the U.S., a new Washington Post-ABC News poll shows 57% of Americans disapprove of how President Obama is handling ISIS in Iraq and Syria.
They're a bunch of killers with good social media.
The same poll asks Americans which presidential candidate they trust to handle the threat of terrorism. Hillary Clinton gets the nod.
We have to take them on the ground, we have to take them on in the air, and we have to take them on online.
The closest matchup is between Clinton and Florida Governor Jeb Bush, with Clinton at 46%, Bush at 43%. Her lead over GOP frontrunner Donald Trump on the issue is 8 points. U.S. politics impacted by Paris. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
Meanwhile, keeping an eye on the economy, let's take a look at the New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. As we can see, everything down there. The Dow down 31, NASDAQ 2, S&P 500 down at 2. Coming up on News 2, in the spirit of giving, who will be serving up some love for Thanksgiving? Details coming up. Welcome back. Well, in the spirit of giving, we are getting closer and closer to Thanksgiving Day. Officer Chesterfield from the Smith Bay Community Action Foundation says that they're hosting the 5th annual pre-Thanksgiving luncheon on Wednesday, November 25th, starting at 3 p.m. on the Lionel Smut Richards Ballpark in Smith Bay, he says, until all the food is served. Now, this event is being held to serve our underprivileged or less fortunate individuals in the community. Elected officials and other dignitaries are all contributing, and they're providing community service for this meaningful event. Also, the Pancipio family will be hosting their 19th annual Thanksgiving luncheon on November 26th for the homeless, elderly, handicapped persons, or anyone desiring to have a meal on Thanksgiving Day. The family has incorporated as a nonprofit organization and now is known as We Serve Outreach. Lunch will be served beginning at noon, November 26th, in Emancipation Garden, St. Thomas, they say, with a full traditional Thanksgiving. Well, Senator Jean Ford, who's the chairman of the Committee on Education and Workforce Development, partnered with Jennifer Moorhead of Concessions International to assist Bowski Elementary School by purchasing 14 wall fans for classrooms. The school was experiencing challenges related to hot classrooms, which made for an uncomfortable learning environment, said the senator. Now, the Democratic senator also noted that high classroom temperatures also harm the computers, which are increasingly becoming a major part of classroom instruction. He thanks Jennifer Moorhead and Joanne Moorhead for their contribution to the school. The senator has reached out to other businesses on several occasions to assist schools in the territory, recently partnering with businesses to purchase school uniforms for foster children. On Saturday, Senator Marvin Blyden and his staff rode the Vitron buses on its inaugural of weekend bus services. The senator said he received an overall positive response from the people regarding his initiative to reinstate weekend service. He thanks Commissioner James at the Department of Public Works for his acknowledgement and the governor for recognizing this important need and signing his bill into law. And as we reported last week, Commissioner Don Henry of DPNR announced that Vitron has extended its bus service. The fixed bus route was implemented on Tuesday, November 10th, which now extends the current route at the Tutu Park Mall to include service to the Charles Turnbull Regional Library. Rotary East and Kappa partnered together in the spirit of giving to raise some funds for the East End bus stop. A barbecue fundraiser was held over the weekend in front of the Swimming Association pool. They say for too long, children and seniors have to sit and wait for a ride in the elements of sun and rain. So many partnered for this event to get the necessary funding. Students at BCB Middle School on Friday, November 20th, they donated $1,000 to the American Cancer Society from money raised at an October 30th fundraiser at the school. A check presentation was made to Lorraine Baugh, who is the executive director of the American Cancer Society and the USVI. According to school counselor Patricia Adams, who spearheaded the fundraising effort, students, faculty, and staff paid a fee of $2 on October 30th to attend school dressed in the signature pink breast cancer awareness colors in order to raise those funds. This is the second year the school has fundraised for the American Cancer Society. Students also decorated the walls outside their classrooms with pink ribbons. It's all about people coming together, rolling up the sleeves, and getting the work done. The Committee for the Betterment of Carnage did some community service. They gave the Joseph Aubain Ballpark in Frenchtown a new look for the holidays. They painted the concession along with the Department of Sports, Parks, and Recreation. Now, the committee usually plans and coordinates the annual Father's Day festivities in Frenchtown, along with many other events. Well, this Wednesday at 8 p.m., don't forget, bring the family out to the Reichel Center for an awesome performance, Momix Botanica. Exciting tricks, colorful costumes, cool effects, and beautiful dance routines, all for one night at the Reichel. You can call the box office for tickets 340-693-1559.
The choreographer, he used to dance with everyone, all the major dance schools, dance repertoires, and he basically said, hey, I'm going to start my own dance repertoire. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to add dance illusion with some tricks and some lighting and a little bit more theatricals and some circus tricks. And he's been all around the world, Paris, Japan, Brazil. He's been all over the world. The reason why we put it on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is because the Moments performance is different. It has a nature feel. It's called Moments Botanica. So because it's giving has an element of nature, we wanted to coincide it with Thanksgiving, kind of bring that holiday feel to the performance.
And Reichel will also be holding a workshop. Count on two, we'll have the highlights from that. Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.